Hello there, ladies and some curious gentlemen. This is another edition of Dr. Ali's video blog in which I have an excellent letter which raises so many questions that I feel as if I could only do it justice by presenting it to you by this video thing. Also, it would take me forever to write this up, and I'm too lazy to do that. So, let us dispatch this in a mere matter of minutes instead of hours. First, the letter, which I will entitle Self-Sabotage 101 for reasons that are about to become abundantly clear. Hi, Dr. Ali. Love your book and your wisdom. Need some of it, please. Having a hard time letting go of someone. We met 4 years ago during his divorce. Friendship morphed into an emotional affair. It was intense and went quickly. He went back to his wife. I cut off all contact and wished him the best. All was fine. Okay, not really, but I did move on. A year later, he asked if we could be friends. I agreed to try, but all of those feelings came flooding back. When I love, it's passionately, and I try to be careful whom I give my heart to, but hey, I'm a work in progress, so I put my hand in the fire. I was honest with him. I don't regret that. It was an important thing for me to do. Needless to say, he chose his wife again. Accepted it, said best wishes, cut off communication, and went home to lick my increasingly messy wounds. Went through some very painful stuff, but learned a lot. Therapy, your book, lots of books, and chocolate. And even came to a feeling of gratitude for the experience. I changed. Round 3, he divorced. He got in touch and asked if we could be friends again. He says he still has feelings for me but wants to start as friends. I told him I'm scared. He doesn't seem to ever really pick me. I love this person, but I don't see a way to start over at square one. I told him that I still have feelings, but they are asleep, out of my awareness for now, and I intend to keep them there so I can find someone who loves me and chooses me. Here's the rub. I have these overwhelming feelings that I am making a mistake, missing out, being too tough. I almost feel like I messed up putting up all those wobbly boundaries. What if he is the real deal, just dressed in a proverbial bad suit? Is this Self-Sabotage 101? I read somewhere that saying no is the toughest decision you will ever make. It was, but it was the right thing to do at the time. But I want my no back. I'm not quite sure what that means. But anyway, I fear that I'm not strong enough, not in control, too emotional, too needy, to take control of the situation and get what I really want, to love and be loved. Who's driving this bus anyway? Is this just my old stuff rearing its ugly head again? Can you help? Thanks, Glutton for Punishment in Chicago. Wow, this is a fascinating one. And first order of business. I believe you need to have some minimal standards for the kind of guy that you want to date. And criterion number 1, the one that is a deal breaker, the one that you cannot possibly bypass, is he needs to be single, okay? You want a single guy. You want a guy who's available, okay? So things that are not single are a guy who is in the process of divorce with his wife, but it's not finalized. Or a guy who is separated from his wife, but periodically sleeps with her still, okay? You want a guy who is single. Unless you don't, in which case that's not what you want. But generally speaking, you want a guy who is available for you, okay? So second, I want to talk about this thing which I call the Facebook effect, which happened to me this morning. So I did my meditation, had some food. Life is beautiful, life is perfect. I have everything that I could possibly need. Om Shanti. And then I flip on Facebook to do some work, check on some messages, post some things, because it's the nature of my job. And I read about this party that I missed out on this weekend. Like, ooh, damn, that party, yeah, that would have really been good. And I hear about this other party later in the week that I can't go to. And I'm like, oh, damn, that one. And suddenly, there goes all my peace and equanimity. The world is no longer perfect. I mean, 5 minutes ago, I was lacking for nothing, but now I'm lacking for something. It's like, ooh, wish I could have had that and that thing in the future. Okay, so here's my news to you. If you are at peace with yourself, nothing is missing. You don't need anything else. Life is perfect, okay? So if some guy parachutes into the Earth's atmosphere out of Mars and says, hey, baby, I still love you. Let's get together even though I, did you wrong 3 times before. Guess what? Your life was better before he came in. He's the nuisance. You need to toss him, okay? That is what is happening right now. Your life was perfectly fine. Out of the blue comes this dude saying, you divorced her finally, you want to get together, okay? This sounds like a really, really, really bad idea for reasons we're about to make abundant right now, such as gambling and the power of maybe. So the reason why this guy is really toxic, one of the reasons, is that, well, why do people gamble? Why is gambling so damn addictive? I mean, if you won all the time, that would be nice. But it turns out winning all the time isn't nearly as addictive as winning sometimes and losing sometimes. And if you lost all the time, of course, you're not a complete idiot. You stop going, right? But if you won all the time, it would kind of lose its luster too. So the thing that keeps you going, the thing that keeps people hooked onto gambling and stuff like that is the power of a maybe. You just don't know whether you're going to win or lose. And that little bit of uncertainty is what jacks up the dopamine in your system. That anticipatory mechanism makes you do silly things like keep on going and pulling the slot machine or going back to the same deadbeat boyfriend or toxic dude, okay? And that's what this guy is, a toxic dude. And not just for that reason, but also because he has the #1 bad boy characteristic. So I have a list of 10 of these things in my book. What makes a bad boy a truly bad boy? And it's not that he's a player. It's not that he's a slob. The worst thing on that whole list is indecision. He is indecisive. He cannot commit, okay? And he's already demonstrated this amply with his wife, right? Divorce, got back together, divorce, got back together, divorce, got back together. Oh, okay. What? He's not going to do this to you when you guys get together? I mean, what's the perfect scenario here? You guys get together, and he's going to do the same shit to you, okay? Don't be that woman. He can go do that to somebody else. You do not need this in your life. What you need is a guy who's like this pillar of solidity that you can go back to, some safe home base from which the feminine, like the flag that wants to wave in the air, okay? That's who you are. You need that strong, safe, and solid base, okay? And he's the one who's being the feminine. You do not need that in your relationship, okay? So, now, here's the thing. I can say about this stuff all day long and say, you know, this is really bad for you. This is a bad idea. And usually it's not going to work that well. So I invite you to do a little thought experiment. I invite you to think that you have a daughter, and she's 18 years old. She's just coming back to you crying, saying, my boyfriend broke up with me again. It's like, oh, what do you mean again? It's like, oh yeah, he dumped me 3 months ago, but then, you know, he came back and he said, oh my God, love you so much, miss you so much. Can we please get back together? I just, you know, things will be different. I swear, I promise. What are you gonna say to your 18-year-old daughter? Huh? You're gonna say, you're an idiot. You can't go back to that dude. He's an idiot. And if you do, you're grounded and you'll never leave the house again, okay? And that's what you're going to say to him. So I'd like you to say that to yourself right now and to imagine that this is exactly what would happen if you get together with a guy like this, because someday you will have kids, someday they will see you with a guy like this, and someday they'll think, oh, it's okay to be treated like this. And then when they do date that guy who breaks up with them 2 or 3 times and makes them feel miserable, it'll be your fault. So kind of chew on that. Think about the long-term consequence of your actions and what it means to the world. And that's the other thing, which is that, you know, you're here to have this mission on the world, on the planet, and to do something useful and give yourself in service and to have this radiance that really adds to the storehouse of human kindness and good deeds. And when you have a guy who's this toxic, he's taking away all of your energy, all of your radiance away, and just wasting it. And you're not able to do your part. You're not able to fulfill your mission on this planet. And you have no right to do that. That's not up to you. So you can't go back to this guy. The opportunity cost is too high. Also, there's some other guy out there, some perfectly decent dude who could be a really great fit for you, right? You guys could be really great together. You have this great bond, and together you could create beautiful things and have this amazing relationship. And every minute you spend thinking about this guy, every minute you spend with this guy is time you're not spending with the other guy, right? And believe me, there's so many guys out there besides this one who's already proven to you 3 times that he's toxic. But also recognize the reason why you're going back is because he's toxic, okay? So you can't do this alone. You need some help from your friends. You need to say, hey, I'm trying to get away with it from this guy. Please don't let me go see him. Please, if I do anything stupid, I'm going to call you. Just, you know, smack me upside the head and make sure that I stay straight. And also make sure you cut off all communication with him. You need to be, in this occasion, the masculine pole and to state unequivocally that, no, this is over, we cannot do this, this is toxic, you need to move on and find somebody else to do this experiment on, not me. And that way, you have a chance at meeting up with Mr. Great, who could be a really good fit for you, okay? And I'm going to illustrate this with a final story, okay? Let's say you're looking for Indian food. You're just hungry for that today, and that's what you want, right? You go to a restaurant, and it says on the door it's a Chinese restaurant. So you come in and you say, do you have Indian food? They say, nope, sorry, no Indian food, Chinese restaurant. It's like, okay then. You walk out, you go around the block. A few minutes later, you're like, wait, maybe they changed their mind. You come back in and you say, hey, I'm looking for Indian food. Do you have any? And they say, nope, sorry, still no Indian food. Okay, fine. You walk out, 2 minutes go by, and you're thinking, let me just try one more time. And you walk in and you say, excuse me, do you have any Indian food? At which point they grab you and they toss you out on the street. Because what? What, you didn't get it? It's a Chinese restaurant. They don't have what you want. And what you want, as you say in your letter, is you want to love and be loved. You want a relationship. You want some reciprocity. You want some commitment. He has proven not once, not twice, but 3 times already that he's the wrong guy for that. So, go find your Indian food somewhere else. Maybe at an Indian restaurant. That's right. Okay, good. Thank you for your attention. And letters. If you want to send me letters, here are the guidelines. 200 words or less. Because if I say anything more than that, you'll write me 5,000 words. This has happened before. And make sure there's a question in there. The question is about what you want. If you do not have a question, I cannot give you an answer. And also, if you don't want your question to appear on my blog, maybe you shouldn't write me, because this is what I do. I take your questions and I answer them publicly on my blog or via video, or just write with a pseudonym. So thank you. Dr. Ali at towerofdating.com is how you reach me. And go forth and conquer and be happy.